Well, good morning. Jim Sunderwirth from the Swing here. So good to get together again. Hey, listen, we've been talking about the senses and getting our senses adjusted to the fact we don't with our fleshly senses, but our spiritual senses, being aware of God as we see and taste and touch and hear and feel. All these things are wonderful, and we kind of took a little sidebar there. We took a little trip on that because we were talking about Abraham, not Abraham, but Isaac, that basically went with his senses instead of his fleshly senses instead of his spiritual senses, and really, again, this flawed family showed their flaw a little bit. So we're going to get back now. We're going to get back to the scripture, and if it's okay with you, we're going to start with in the verse 41 of chapter 27. Now, we talked about so many things about the family, but I want to point out something here as we read this. I'm just going to read it to you this morning. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father had blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning of my father, when they are over at hand, then I will slay my brother Jacob. And now get the picture now. Remember, Jacob had tricked him out of his birthright and then tricked his father out of the blessing. And then he just got snookered all the way around. It's his own fault because he lived in the flesh instead of the spirit. So you got to get the back picture. Remember, we talked all about that, and now he's really aggravated. In other words, and there's another translation that said he held a grudge. In other words, he said he held a grudge. Not only just hated, but he held a grudge. That was in another translation, and it says that. And there's a lot of times, it's easy to do, is hold those grudges. And these words of Esau, her elder son, were told to Rebekah, and she sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and said unto him, Behold, thy brother Esau, as touching thee, doth comfort himself, purposing to kill you. In other words, he comforts himself with his grudging. Sometimes people just hold a grudge because they get comfort from it, because they've been done wrong. And so what do they want to do? They just they don't know what to do, so they just hold a grudge within us. We're seeing it in America. Anyways, therefore, my son, obey my voice and arise, flee to Laban, my brother, to Haran, and tarry with him a few days until thy brother's fury turns away. He didn't realize it's going to be 20 years. Wow, can you believe that? Until thy brother's anger turn away from thee, and he's forgotten which thou hast done to him, and I will send and fetch thee from that time. In other words, he said, you go, and once the anger's calmed down, I'll call you back, and we'll be back together again. Because I can't stand the thoughts, she says here, I can't stand the thoughts of losing both of you in one day. And Rebekah said to Isaac, I am weary. What's he weary of? I am weary of my life because of the daughters of Heth. If Jacob take a wife of these daughters of Heth, such as these which are of the daughters of this land, what good shall my life do me? In other words, she got so frustrated because Esau married out of his tribe. He married outside of what they knew to be true, their philosophy of life, outside their tradition of religion. I mean, it just really messed everything up. And she said, I'm so weary of trying to put up with all this frustration. There's no freedom there. There's nothing to be alike. So she said, let's send Jacob back to Laban, and so he can get a wife of our ancestry. Okay, so they did that. Well, here's the thing. Let's get back to Esau. He held such fury within inside of him. He held such a grudge, and it's easy to do that. I mean, it's easy. Jesus came in Luke, the 4th chapter. It said that Jesus said, I've come that of course you might have life, but the one thing he said in Luke, he said these words from Isaiah 61. He said in Isaiah 61, he quoted this. He said, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he's anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor, hath sent me to heal the brokenhearted, preach deliverance to the captives, and recovering sight to the blind, and set at liberty them that are bruised. In other words, Jesus came to help us get over our grudges. He helped us get over our anger, to set us free. Whatever controls you in your grudges or anger, that takes away from your freedom. And Jesus said, I want to be set free. Whatever holds you captive, Jesus said, I want to set you free. And he said, it's not just from jail, hard jail, it's from the jail we put upon ourselves because of the grudges we hold. And Esau held that grudge hard, and he wanted to kill it. He said, only reason I'm not going to kill you is because I don't want to put more mourning on my father. And when my father dies, then I'm going to come after you. Well, look at that. Let me just tell you, see, as I wrap up today, Esau lived for 40 more years. Can you believe that? Okay, I got to go. I'll see you tomorrow. We'll just keep on with this, okay?